Hey guys. All right, so this week is kind of an interesting week. This particular week that I'm making this video, we've got Tuesday classes, Wednesday virtual, Thursday classes, Friday classes. If everything goes according to plan, we've got some students that are face to face. We've got some students that are virtual. Okay, but we all are going to talk about a general theme this week. We're going to talk about our Wednesday words. Our Wednesday words are review, refine, and correct. Okay? And so we are going to have that be the theme for this week. And I'll explain how that's going to work in just a little bit. First of all, let's talk about that. When we talk about review, now a lot of you have heard, oh, let's review last chapter or let's review our math problems. And review simply means to look back at something that we've already done, okay? So if we review an assignment, that means we go back and we look at how we did on it. We look at how it came out. We can even look at the actual artwork and say, okay, well, did I do what I was supposed to do? All of that stuff is reviewing. All of it is looking back and kind of from there's a saying that says hindsight is 2020. That means that after something has happened, it's always easier to look back and ask yourself, did I make a good decision? Did I do a good job? Did that work out the way that I wanted it to work out? Okay, so that's part of reviewing. Now, refining, okay? Refining means looking at something very carefully and asking yourself, it's kind of like reviewing, but the intention of refining is to make little changes for the better and make whatever method or idea or project or artwork that you've done, make little changes that make it even better, okay? So when they say that a person is refined or something, that means they've looked at themselves and they've tried to correct some of their characteristics that maybe they don't like as much. Maybe they need to correct their posture, or maybe they need to speak more clearly, or just do things better. Okay. So that's refining. And then the last word is a word that we hear a lot in math class. But we're going to talk about it as a verb, not as an adjective, okay? So, correct, right? Correct means that, like, if you're talking about math and somebody says, what do you think of this answer? And they say, that is correct. That means you've done everything the way that you were supposed to, and the result is what it is supposed to be. That is correct, okay? That's a description. We're going to talk about correct as a verb or an action. And so what that is simply to look at something and fix any mistakes, okay? So my van wasn't working correctly a while ago, and so I took it to the mechanic and they corrected what was wrong with it. And incidentally, it cost me a whole lot of money, but that they corrected it. That's the verb. My van was not running correctly. You see how that works? Okay. So what is this week's theme going to be? This week's theme, this is what I want you to do. Is I want you to get into Skyward. You can do the same thing in Google Classroom. And I want you to start way back at assignment 1. And I want you to look and I want you to review your grades. Now, this is easy. If you come across a grade that is a 0, that is not the correct grade that is supposed to be in there if you did your job, okay? So if it's a 0 out of 10, you go right to that very first assignment where you get a 0, and you look in Google Classroom and you go through the video again and you do the assignment. This week is going to be a chance to get rid of those zeros, okay? And you correct that assignment. There's that word, correct, okay? And you hand it in, and hopefully you change that 0 to a 10 or a 9 or an 11 even, okay? Because there's no penalty for late stuff. Just remember that, okay? Now, but that's not refining. What's refining? Well, if you go back and you look at your first assignment and there's a 10 there, well, you can't get much better than a 10. 10 out of 10, okay? And then you're going to keep going. There's my Wednesday words. I got a 5 out of 5. There's the next assignment. I got an 8. So you're going to open that assignment and you're going to read the comments and you're going to see if you can refine that assignment or redo it. That's part of refining sometimes too. If you can refine that assignment and resubmit it and change that 8 to a 10, okay? So that is the theme of this week. And we are going to continue this week to review, refine, and correct. Now, those of you that have zeros, and if you go along and you have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then you have an 8, don't try to refine the 8. That's only going to get you maybe 2 points, maybe 3 points. You go back to the 0 and you go in order and you change that 0 to a 10. That's 10 whole points that you didn't have before, okay? Now, those of you that have all 10s, you might be saying, well, I've got all 10s. I guess that means I'm perfect. No. I mean, you might be perfect, but that's not what that means. If you have all 10s, that means you've done everything correctly. But does that mean that is the highest grade you could get? If it's a project type assignment and you have a 10, you are welcome to go back and refine that and try to get an 11 or a 12. And I know how some of you are. Some of you have got a 10 on almost everything, and you've even got 11s, and some of you have even got 12s. And I know what motivates some of you. And you can have something too, because you can try for that very top spot is the highest average in the class. And to do that, you're going to have to get some of those 11s and 12s. So while some of the other people are trying to get rid of their zeros, you can try that if you'd like to, okay? So do we have an official assignment where it says do this, do that, do this, do that this week? No. All of this week, and I'll have more videos, maybe showing you some examples, okay? So all of this week, we're gonna review, refine, and correct, okay? So good luck. Let's get rid of those zeros and let's change some of those numbers, refine them up to higher numbers, okay? All right, good luck and can't wait to see what we get.